All right, so I've got to ask this question because we are at that part of the year and we are at that point now where the election is on everybody's mind. And there are people that are wondering what to do with their money because of the election. So Sharon Epperson is the retirement reporter at CNBC, and she's kind of saying, don't let this cloud your judgment with your financial decisions.
I think everyone is hanging on each candidate's word to find out what can we expect is going to happen to our money. What is promised is not necessarily going to be the policy change that happens or regulatory change that happens. And so planning what you're going to do with your money based on these promises doesn't make a lot of sense. But there's so much uncertainty, and that uncertainty causes a great deal of turmoil in the stock market. And yes, we're going to definitely see dips, and we might see big ones. But that doesn't mean that the markets are going to go lower because of the outcome. In fact, historically, once the candidate becomes president, the stock market rallies once we know who that candidate's going to be. So the rash decision to take your money out of the market because you're so uncertain, that's not what you want to do.
She is right. Historically speaking, when the election is over, the market usually goes up because all the uncertainty is over. Are you having people walk through the door and this is part of their concern about where they should put their money, and they're kind of, I think I'll sit on the sidelines for a while till I figure out what all is going to happen?
Yeah, so we've had these discussions, and let's see, 2012, 2016, 2020. They seem to kind of pop up every 4 years or so.
Yes,
right?
All right.
And I get it. Unfortunately, the political environment seems far more charged than it ever has been in the past, right? And so,
yes.
So I think this is even. I have seen it, at least with our clients and new people that come and talk to us, it's even more of a concern for people than it was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, right? She's absolutely right, though, right? First of all these things that get discussed, I mean, how many of them are going to happen?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, one of the things clients have brought up to me recently is Kamala Harris apparently has talked about a 70 to 80% tax bracket, right? I haven't seen that. I've heard it from several people. So I don't know if that's even true or if it's, who knows, maybe it's fake news, right? But that's a concern. Hey, like 70, 80% tax bracket. I was like, yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Rich people donate to the Democrats too. Mm-hmm. They don't want to see a 70 or 80% tax bracket, right? So, I mean, are these things going to happen? I don't think you shouldn't bury your head in the sand, but, take it with a grain of salt until we get some direction on this. And this is the biggest thing. I've had a visual that I sent out to clients, and we put it on our Facebook page. I don't know, maybe a month ago. And essentially, it's a graph that shows you, and I'm not going to get these figures exactly right. I'm kind of just shooting from the hip here because I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was something like if you go back to 1950 or 1960 or whatever it is, and you invested in the S&P back then, and you only invested when Republicans were running the country,
okay,
your investment would have grown to something like $200,000.
All right.
If you'd only invested when Democrats were running the country, it was a bit better. It was like 400,000 or something. Okay. This is the big point, though. If you had just stayed invested and you didn't let your political influence push you in or out of the markets, you were at like $3 or $4 million.
Oh my gosh!
It was because I had one client was like, "Oh, I guess this means you should be voting for Democrats." I was like, "No, it means you should just stay invested because I'll take $3 or $4 million over 400,000 every day, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, those numbers might be off a little bit, but there was extreme deltas between those different numbers. And that's the best visual I can think, because you and I can talk about this. Oh, don't put your emotions aside. Don't worry about. Well, that's different to having facts put in front of you and say, this is what has happened, right?
Right.
I have clients that in 2012, that was his second term, right? Obama's second term. They get out of the markets because, I'm concerned he's going to crash the economy. You know what? They missed out on a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. Democrats when Trump got elected, right? Love him or hate him, the market still went up.
It
right?
sure did.
We had Democrats that lost a lot of money. Same thing with Biden. He's going to destroy. Guess what? The same argument's happening now.
Market's higher than it's ever been.
Exactly. If Harris gets elected, things are going to fall apart. If Trump gets elected, there's going to be a World War III. Look, all those things, there's different outcomes that could happen. Yes, I get it. the data shows you that that is not the correct decision to make.